but there's something that's very, I would say, exhilarating, because it's easier than ever, and for more people than ever, to access all kind of resources and ideas and knowledge, and you can reach people, pretty much anybody around the world instantly. In the beginning, I will make 3 quotes, or paraphrase actually, 2 Frenchmen and 1 Chinese saying.
I was hoping to hear 2 Swedes and 1 Finn. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, so yeah, it sounds like a beginning of a joke. Maybe it is, but the French writer Hugo said something along the lines, "What's stronger than anything in the world? That's an idea whose time has come." There's another Frenchman, Louis Pasteur, who said along the lines that chance favors those who are prepared. And the third one is Chinese saying, 天时地利人和, which means when it's the right time in heaven and the right conditions on earth and the people are cooperating well, then you will succeed. Okay, so you take these 3 together, an idea whose time has come and being prepared and waiting for the right moment. So this is basically what Brainstorm Corner is about, to catch the big idea and then look for the right moment and then have the right people cooperating in the right way. So radical ideas, maybe the next big thing, and then find a way to make these ideas into actual projects and success stories.
Do those projects have to be about business, or can it be some kind of creative project?
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you asked. So there's no limit there. So when we do this brainstorming, I like to say there's a method, but there's no limits. So you can take pretty much any topic from a cosmological study, or you can take something really close to you, like what's happening in your daily life, like the price of milk, or whatever you have. So we try to get the most diverse topics and the most diverse people, and not limit the brainstorming into one very, very narrow topic. And we see, when we put these elements together, we shake a little bit and we see what happens, what kind of new interesting connections come and what kind of ideas come.
And you say that you prefer diverse people. Is there any limitation? You already have had a few brainstorm corners, right?
Yes.
How often do you have the event? Is it once a month now?
We've had a few times a year.
Okay, and you have your own website, or do you publish the event on Facebook? How can people find it?
Yes, www.brainstormcorner.com. So you can find it there, and also Eventbrite, meetup.com, in various channels.
Okay. If you want a diverse audience, you don't stick to, say, only students or only startup people, or anybody can come?
Anybody can come. So far, I've found that, let me give you some examples. So lots of students, recent graduates, some foreigners in Finland, maybe looking for the next thing to do. Also some scientists, even big corporation executives have joined the event. So I'm pretty happy that, I think it's a thing that when you make an event like this, it attracts a certain kind of people, and those people are generally willing and able to cooperate with each other. So it makes a nice match of diverse people.
Okay. Do you have any more comments about your concept?
Okay, so if I put it in a nutshell, so Brainstorm Corner about sense-making and coming up with new great ideas. So when you brainstorm, you shake things up, you lose a little bit your original coordinates, and then you have to look for the new coordinates. And while you're looking at things from this new angle, you find new things. And actually, in the end, you get a clearer picture of what's around you and than what you started with. And then, yes, so next events are coming up. You can join the Brainstorm Corner. We work in small groups. You will find a friendly atmosphere, some snacks, and in the end result will be that you've learned something and you have come up with a new idea or a project. And we will put that project into a project plan and then actually start to implement it together. We may help you find resources for your project. Or then there's another alternative. We wait for the right time and then we start the project. So anyway, thanks to Tribecast, Tribe Tampere, and Tampere ES, and everybody else who's been helping.
Yeah, that would be a good reminder for our listeners that I know that Brainstorm Corner cooperates with Tampere ES, right? Get some help from them in organizing.
Yes, we've been organizing this year several events together.
Okay, so, and let me remind our listeners that the interview with Juha Mäkinen from Tampere ES can be heard in one of the previous episodes. And also, spoiler alert, we have just talked with Tampere ES that they would soon join us again on Tribecast to let us know more about their coming projects. Thank you very much for this interview, Juha. Unless you have any comments, I think that was a very good explanation of what Brainstorm Corner is about, and I think I can join the next meeting. Do you think I'll find something for myself as well?
I'm sure. Next one is coming up either later this month, October, or early November, so stay tuned.
Okay, great. And I really like that you said, if I got you right, after the project is created, also Brainstorm Corner kind of help you create a network, so you have some help with the implementation of your project.
That's right.
Right. Sounds good. Thank you. This is Tribecast. We're still doing episode 36. And our last but not the least guest for this week is a person I was trying to invite for an interview for quite a while. We have quite a story. Thank you, Jan, for making it here today. We are coming back to the topic of Red Brick Accelerator, which is running its second batch. So Jan is one of the coaches for this amazing mentoring program. Let me remind our listeners that Red Brick Accelerator is a 6 weeks mentoring program for early stage startups, right? And this year, they're having a joint super demo day. So Red Brick Accelerator Nordic Startup School will have a joint demo day in the middle of November. It will be an event full of startups and investors and other cool people within the startup ecosystem. So yeah, we have one of the coaches, but let's do it the way we do it at Tribecast. Please tell our listeners a few things about yourself before we go any further.
Yes, thanks for having me here. My name is Jan Kreber. For those who are interested I'm a German citizen who moved to Finland. And usually they are asking me, hey, how long have you been living here in Finland? My usual answer is that there are two answers to this one. The first one is too long to not speak the language. And the second one is be a bit more precise, which is then I moved here in 2007. So there you see there are already these two hearts beating in me. One is the engineer who would like to be very precise, very punctual, as well very effective, and then there is the user experience person who puts things into relationships and looks into into the environment or into the context, how to place things there.
Okay, so what do you do now? You don't work as an engineer anymore.
No,
right?
I don't work as an engineer anymore. No, it's but I think I still think a lot like an engineer. So or I have been drilled to think as an engineer, and now moved towards this user experience part, working as an interaction designer, or I would describe myself as an interaction designer, but looking into things from an engineering point of view, or having also these thoughts or processes or structures from engineering point of view. So very well structured, but also trying to understand where things are coming from and how to maybe put them into certain steps or certain processes. Something what many other people in my area not necessarily so eagerly looking into, maybe putting it this way. So I wouldn't say that they don't do these things, but they have a different attitude towards, let's say, processes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Would you address yourself as a UX designer nowadays?
Now we're getting into semantics. So I think you cannot be a user experience designer. That's the first thing. You can design for the user experience. That's something. Mm-hmm. So that's...
it's funny that we had a similar conversation about being or not being or feeling like an angel investor. So, okay, let's get to the designer.
No, all good, because I think that's a common mistake, which is... No, not mistake, but maybe misconception or misunderstanding of the job I'm doing there. And what I see is that there's a lot of change when it comes to, again, semantics or description of what this job position actually is. So I think some 10 years ago, people wouldn't have talked about user experience designer. They would have talked maybe about a visual designer, a graphics designer, maybe a web designer. They might have thought of you as maybe an interaction designer. And I think that's basically what it was. But this idea of user experience design, I think is a pretty new concept, and myself, I'm how to say, still reluctant in using this term because it means all and nothing to me, at least. And I rather try to be a bit more specific. And then the funny part there is that my title, for example, is Chief User Experience Designer. Again, to my understanding, it's a very, very broad field. In return, I think I'm nowadays covering this field, but when, for example, looking for, let's say, co-workers, I want to be much more specific, that I'm saying I really want to have that specialist in that area. And I would be very careful in saying I'm looking for a user experience designer. I'm rather looking for somebody who's really good with creating something visually appealing. To my understanding, these would be, usually they are artists. They're really, really good with these things. And yes, as I said, so I think that they are artists, whereas the other ones, which are rather thinking of them as interaction designers, so they rather should be people who are analytic, who can observe what people are doing and putting that into, again, the context and digest the information which they're having and creating something out of that.
In my understanding, user experience is also a bit about psychology. Not only put in the right order, but first of all, understanding how people use it and how people would like to have it or to use it.
There's a lot of psychology involved, and I think it's it's not a big secret that, for example, one of the godfathers of user experience actually should, if you can, there's a very short and nice video from Don Norman this way. He has a very short video from which has been recorded by Norman Nielsen Group or Nielsen Norman Group, I'm not sure, but nngroup.com, where they are asking him, hey, could you quickly explain the term user experience, because you have been coining it. So that is the one who is behind. And I think the real beef behind is that it's not only about, hey, I'm coding here something, or I'm showing you my web page or something, but it's basically, he's calling it everything, and I think that's basically it. So it's the environment you're in, it's the mood from which you are coming, it's your bias, how you are observing something, how you're interacting with something, and how you're leaving the whole scene. So it's not only this single moment you're in, but it's the entire environment, it's the context. So from where you're coming to where you're going.
All right. Does this cover your session at the Red Brick Accelerator today? Is it what you're going to talk today?
A little bit. So it's at least it's making references to it. And the session today will be about user testing. So, and that's a big part of it, that you understand what people are actually up to. So, and there we're coming back again to the psychology. So as well, that we try to understand why people are doing these things and how much, now in our case, how much they're actually into this product which we are offering there. Is there actually a need for them to pay for this product which I'm offering there, or the service which I'm offering there? And I would then, when defining these things, I would differentiate between a need and a problem. Again, we're talking about semantics, and others might see it in a different way. But to me, a need is something where I would pay for. I take money into the hand, put it onto the desk, and say, look, give me the service, give me the product back, because it in most cases shortens my time which I have to spend on something, or it enables me to do things. Whereas when I'm having a problem, it doesn't mean that I necessarily would take money into the hand to solve the problem. I could leave it unsolved there. So let's say a problem could be that the room I'm sitting in has not the optimum lighting condition. I might say, so what? I leave it as it is. I don't take money into the hand to walk to the switch over there and switch it on. But let's say some certain information, I would pay for that, because I wouldn't know how to get it maybe otherwise, or how to get it fast maybe if I don't pay you for it. And then that's what I would then see as a need. And I think that's one of the essential things what people have to look into when creating a service or when creating a product. Do I solve a need? A need could even be that pampering my ego, or like this I'm rich button, which has been introduced just when iTunes has been launched. So it could be anything. But the point is, somebody is willing to take money into the hand and put it on the desk.
For an early stage startup, I mean. And is it easier to look for an already existing problem and then find a solution to it and sell it? Or is it easier and maybe more useful to kind of create the problem. You don't know that you want it, but we'll tell you that you want it, and then we'll sell you it.
So if